I should have known I was dreaming. The first sign. I was wearing a chef's hat. A proper one. Starched so hard it could wound a lesser god if angled incorrectly. The second sign. Gordon Ramsay stood before me, furious, incandescent, a divine beacon of human rage, his voice scraping against the metaphysical ceiling like an orchestra of blenders grinding against hubcaps. "Hey, Squidward's ugly cousin, come here, you absolute cosmic turd waffle," he bellowed, the force of his words peeling reality like overripe wallpaper. "What is this? What in the bloody bile-soaked backside of Neptune's nightmares is this?" I peered down at my plate. It was a souffle, technically. In the same way an abandoned beehive is technically a housing solution. I coughed, or rather the universe around me shuddered sympathetically. "It is," I intoned with grand solemnity, "a deconstructed memory of a souffle, an existential commentary on the futility of culinary permanence." Gordon threw his hands into the air with the theatrical despair of a Shakespearean king being usurped by a garden gnome. "You've served me a psychic crime scene, you gangrenous tentacle-sodden bin bag." He jabbed a finger so hard into the air, I half expected the atmosphere to sue him for assault. "It's raw, it's more raw than a 6-minute apology from a guilty husband." Around us, mortal sous chefs, ghostly wraiths of dream logic, buzzed and panicked, ferrying half-imaginary dishes while time melted off the walls like cheap fondue. "And another thing," Gordon roared, stalking toward me like a flaming bureaucratic summons. "You can't just slap a flayed concept of flavor onto a plate and call it a bloody experience. This isn't a gallery opening hosted by Beelzebub's second cousin after a head injury." "I disagree," I rumbled, crossing my arms, or the approximation of arms, woven from ancient metaphors and poor life choices. The judges in the outer courts of taste deemed it avant-garde. "Outer courts?" Gordon looked moments away from sprouting wings of pure indignation and smited me into a risotto crater. "I'll outer your bloody courts, you pretentious cosmic cheese blister." Another plate appeared before me. Beef Wellington. Flawless. Mocking me. "This," Gordon barked, slamming his hand down so hard the beef Wellington flinched. "This is food. This is art. Not that squelching existential dread pile you summoned like a depressed poltergeist in a bloody vegan co-op." I tried reasoning with him, ancient to ancient. "My dear shrieking star of culinary ire," I said, smoothing my tentacles with wounded dignity. "I exist to evoke terror, not tenderloin. You've evoked nausea, you tentacled Picasso of gastronomic malpractice." He stabbed a fork into my conceptual souffle. It wept a sound, something between a sigh and a funeral dirge. Gordon recoiled, as if the fork had whispered its student debt into his ear. "I've had more satisfying experiences chewing regret after a night out in Croydon." Across the dreamscape, the kitchen itself began to rot, flourished with unnatural fungi, utensils sprouting tiny eyes, the very cutting boards hissing profanities in old Aramaic. "Fix it!" Gordon screamed, veins threatening mutiny across his forehead. "Or so help me, I'll tie your tentacles into a granny knot and use you to scrub the infernal toilet of culinary history." At this point, petty cosmic survival instincts kicked in. We began a cook-off. Him searing steaks with the fury of a betrayed war god. Me summoning ancient squamous desserts that actively tried to seduce the judges into non-Euclidean marriage contracts. He screamed. I screamed. The kitchen screamed. The souffle developed abandonment issues. It was beautiful. In the end, Gordon, staring down at my final dish, a black hole tartlet with a sugared event horizon. gave a slow, impained nod. But anyway, I eventually woke up by some miracle of the void. I woke to the nauseating scent of caramelized despair, and something far worse, butter. Evidently, at some shameful hour lost between cosmic dignity and mortal absurdity, I had sleepwalked into Croissant Shan's bakery. In my compromised state, I had secured a chef's hat, one starched to an offensively jaunty degree, and had pressed 2 slices of bread firmly against both sides of my ancient visage. I stood there for an indeterminate amount of time, gazing into the middle distance like a particularly disappointed statue, slowly registering the horror of my existence. Thus, I had achieved it. The final evolutionary low, an idiot sandwich.